Alright everyone, we're going to take a quick look at taphonomy and the study that it includes. So let's get right into it. So we're looking at first how animals die and how they get fossilized. So let's look at fossilization real quick. So with our fossilization, remember that it is rare and the conditions have to be just right for this to occur. Various obstacles that we can come across when an animal dies. Scavengers are going to move things around. The organism is not going to get buried, and the environment can wash things away, destroy things, or it's in a place where it's not going to get buried at all. So here's your good little textbook example of how fossilization happens when it happens right. There we have a nice fish. Interestingly enough, fossilization is going to happen more in an aquatic setting than it is in a terrestrial setting. Here's another good old textbook dinosaur example. So we have the two sauropods here, get buried, lots of sedimentation, and then we have the paleontologists looking for it and finding it. Alright, so the study of how animals die and become fossilized. So look at this image real quick. This is an animal that's died, partially buried. You can see not all of the animal is there, and there are nice little studies that kind of tell us how this all works. You'll be looking at a paper, and we'll be looking at various highlights from this paper. I'll give you instructions on the highlights to follow, because sometimes the scientific papers can be very, very interesting to interpret and get through, because they're using some very big language. So here we go. We have a student that is studying what's going on with this particular animal. You can see we've got various vertebrae here, we've got a skull over here, and they're making measurements so they can figure out what has happened to this animal as it's died. You can see the skin over here as well. So a lot of interesting things going on here, and that's really what we're doing. We're using ideas from the present. We're taking the present here from these animals, and we're applying it to the past. The same processes occur. The present is the key to the past. So here's an example of different types of burial rates and what we may have happen with various invertebrates. You can see how much is left if we have different burial rates, and what is going to be left for these animals after a really not even terribly long amount of time. So reinforcing the fact that fossilization is rare. The fact that we can find animals this pristine in the fossil record means that that burial had to happen very, very rapidly. Alright, so with this we get all kinds of information in taphonomy. You can figure out how the animal died, how it ended up in the position that we found it, what happened during the burial processes, what disturbances in the environment had occurred, what the animal was doing at the time, what's going on, and we can also figure out why we're not finding certain bones. Remember, some of these things are really small. If they were in a very high energy environment, they're going to get washed away really easy. So that's one of the reasons we don't find many complete skeletons. The area we're going to be working in, we're going to find a lot of different kinds of bones. This is a big area that we have high energy river environment that the animals themselves kind of dammed up the area, but we're finding various pieces and chunks not in the nice things that we see in Jurassic Park. So there's a brief overview of taphonomy, and look for instructions with the attached article in this particular assignment, and we'll see you next time.